What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. And as you can tell from the title, I've got a good friend here, Sam, who's going to talk us through his TD04 Series 3. So Sam, welcome to the channel.
Hello.
Talk us through your car.
So I picked this up as a part exchange actually, not what I'd normally go for, but it took my interest because as you say, it's got the TD04, loads of bits done to it. I think the only thing I've done is a splitter and cleaned it up really.
Okay, so let's actually start on externals before we go on to the internals. Yeah. Talk us through what is externally on the car.
So I know it's got the McGann front brakes, the Brembos. I've put a Audi A1 splitter on it, which I just tested it and it looks pretty sick. So I was like, I'm gonna go with that. You'll have to remind me of the name, but it's had those alloys put on it.
So these are the SS alloys. So I think this car, I'll talk about it briefly when I actually get to take it out, but they're the SS alloys, 17-inch titanium. Yep,
those. It's had a Scorpion exhaust put on it. It's decatted as well.
Well, that takes us to the internals. So talk about the internals then.
It's technically outside, isn't it?
Is it?
Kind of.
Well, no, it's a decat pipe's there. It's under the hood.
Okay, it's inside. Yeah, I think to be honest, that is it outside. I've done a wiper delete on the back.
Talk us through what's under the hood then. How have you got?
So,
what power is it for a start, and then let's go through the bits.
I want to say about 280-ish. It's definitely not 240. It's a lot quicker than that. But yeah, it's got the TD04 turbo. I think it's had bigger injectors put in. As I said, decat, forge induction, and the AirTech intercooler, and the Scorpion exhaust with decat. I've already said decat. So yeah, that all together, it's pretty mental. It's been mapped by, I think it's TRC they're called. TMC. That's it, TMC. They've been mapped by them.
He's actually going to be kind enough to let me drive this.
Yeah.
Let's take it on the road and see what it's like. So we are in Sam's little TD04 right now. First impressions, I mean, I've driven a billion of these cars and I love being back in the Series 3 kind of setup. Sorry Sam, I've got to lower your seat though. The Series 3, you sit, I forget, with these say belts that I've got in my car. You sit so much higher in these seats and they don't seem to obviously grip you because they've got standard bolsters, but I love the rawness of the basic seats. I think it's so good. You got good old school steering wheel, old school leather gear shifter, old school seats, and a ton of power. What more do you want? And because there's a rear seat delete, I've got the complete noise of the exhaust behind me, so I really feel like I'm in a race car. And also Sam's done like a nice visor where he's wrapped it across the top of the windscreen, so I've got that like supercar limited visibility, and I've got the noise of the forge induction, which you probably can hear very, very clearly in the GoPro. So I'm basically going to take it out and talk about what it's like to have a TD04, because as Sam said, it's got a TD04 in it and it's mapped differently. So I'm in standard right now, but let's put it in sport, drop the gear to third and see what it's like. Okay, big turbo conversion, big power. So the first thing that I'll say about a TD04 is a lot of people say there's a lot of lag in the way that it delivers the power, but I think if you've driven Abarths a lot, you'll understand what I mean. By every single Abarth, the powertrain kicks in at 3,000. It's no different on this one. The only difference is it doesn't stop or seem to slow down at 5.5. The powertrain keeps going. And the one thing that I've always said about big turbo Abarths is I don't think it's really going to fix anything on the first, second kind of gears in terms of acceleration. I always feel like it will change the game in third, fourth and fifth. And that's the first thing that I've seen straight away off the bat. Is in third gear, I put the power down and it's accelerate. It just gets faster and faster and faster. It hasn't stopped pulling. I get to fourth and it's pulling even harder, which in my car with the Garrett, the 1446 I think is what comes on the comps, even mapped with an induction kit and an intercooler at 230 brake horsepower, it gets into third and it's fast. Fourth and fifth is fast, but there's other cars like the German cars, just as soon as you get to around 90 mile an hour, it falls off completely, and these other cars just absolutely take you out on private roads and tracks. And that's the one thing I've noticed about this car, is you can feel the torque and how torquey it is straight away. Like third and fourth, the torque is pulling you instantly on a bigger turbo, and it doesn't have as much lag as everybody said it does. So I think it's definitely down to how it's mapped, what kind of car you've got, how you want it set up, and so on and so forth. But putting the power down on this, that was a lot of fun. Now, as Sam said, he's got a forged induction kit, and you definitely can hear it. It's got an AirTech intercooler, it's got the TD04 turbo, it's got the straight D-cap pipe, and it's mapped all by TMC Motorsport. So this thing really is set up for power, as well as the giant 4-piston Megane Brembos, which kind of curve around the discs. They're I think they're 330s, but I don't know, I'll have to double check. But let's put this, it's in sport, let's drop it down now, into fourth, and accelerate away. Wow. Oh my god, I definitely want a bigger turbo. I'm sold. I want the bigger turbo, 110%. Wow, this pulls. You know, the Scorpion exhaust is kind of nice because it's got a back box on it. So I mean, when you're not driving and accelerating in the car, it's not actually too aggressive. I know obviously I've got the rear seat delete, but as an exhaust goes, it's raspy, and I'm sure with the window down it'd be absolutely insane, but it's not actually too shabby. It's pretty raspy, it's loud enough that it needs to be and does what it needs to do, but it's not too aggressive. So if I was going to do an exhaust review, I wouldn't say it was too bad. I'd say it's quite comfortable in the cabin, especially if you had those back seats there, and it's raspy enough that you get all the like pantomiming noise that you do from these incredible Abarths. This car as well, just going off on a tangent here whilst I think about it, this car as well has been dropped 30mm, IBEC lowering springs, it's not got any spacers on it, looks great, and as Sam said, he's got the SS alloys on it as well, and this is because this car was a standard 136 brake horsepower Series 3 from I think 2012. Now the interesting thing about those is the bearings inside the engine were so much thicker, and they were so much more, like they were heavier. Like we felt some bearings from a 2021 Abarth engine versus the ones from the older ones in the workshop a couple of months ago, and the weight of the bearings are so much thicker, better, bigger built engines. And I wonder if that's why an engine like this can take 200, Sam reckons 280. If I'm honest, Sam, I'm sorry, I think this is more 250, 255, but I wonder if that's why the engine can take the power a little bit better. But essentially, like I said, it started as a 2012 136 brake horsepower car, and then it's been changed and transformed into this absolute monster through the years. I think it would have had the SS kit added to it, which is what I was getting to, very long-winded way, which you get the SS alloys, you got the remap that took it to 160 brake on the iHigh turbo, and then you would have gotten the Monza exhaust system as well as maybe some uprated Brembos. Whoever had this before uprated the Brembos to the Megane Brembos, and then on top of that has done a massive TD04 conversion on it. And I've got to say, driving around, it feels like a 230 brake horsepower car, especially when you're putting your foot down in standard. But when you put it in sport, the biggest and notably biggest difference about putting a bigger turbo in your car is the power range in third, fourth and fifth, and how you don't really seem to slow down in those bigger rev ranges. I think you just get more and more pull, and that'll be where the pressure of the turbo is able to do its magic. The one thing I'd say though, and I've got to say this is a precautionary thing for anybody on the channel who watches this, who's looking at doing a bigger turbo on the car, please replace your head gaskets. If you want to put high power through these engines, check with a mechanic that it's done safely. Don't be slapping 280 brake horsepower into your car because you watch this video and you say, oh, Nick said a bigger turbo is great. We recommend changing your camshaft, doing your pistons, your pec rods, and then making sure that it's mapped correctly to the car. Every car is different. Every car has a different power range in the way it delivers power. So please do your research first. When you do the conversion, make sure it's done with someone who's good at what they do. But we got straight here, so I'm just going to bang into third. sold me. I said at the beginning of this video, it sold me. I want a bigger turbo on my car. I think I'm gonna have to ask Ant. We definitely looked at a few big ones, and we're gonna be doing another video with a very, very special guest coming up very, very soon. It's good friend Mark Rosales. If anybody in the Abarth community knows the people in the UK, you'll know him. He's got the Bumblebee, the black and yellow car. That thing's got 296 brake horsepower from an S260 turbo. I cannot wait to drive that, but for now, this car has brought a smile to my face. It's an incredible little motor. And the TD04 turbo, I've always wanted to drive on with the TD04. See what it was like. I've always been told they're very laggy. I disagree. I think this is good. I think it's very, very good. I think it's no different in first and second really to my car, if I'm being brutally honest. Third doesn't really feel crazy different until 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. And then fourth, that's it, it's gone. So much quicker. Fourth and fifth, so much quicker. So if you're gonna make the change, do it for fourth and fifth, if I'm honest. Incredible car. But if you want to do a TD04 conversion to the same as this car, here's the list you need to go and have a look at. We recommend TMC Motorsport. Those guys are incredible over there. So, just to go through the list, you need to do their TD04 conversion kit for 285 brake horsepower. Comes with a decap pipe. Personally, I'd put a 200 cell cat, because I don't want a super straight through noise, but you might want that. So it comes with the TD04 turbo, decap pipe or a 200 cell decap, thicker head gasket. Unless you've got a comp, they already come with a thicker head gasket. You then want to change potentially your exhaust, induction kit, intercooler. Then you want 360cc injectors minimum. Bosch are the Ferrari ones, I think, on TMC Motorsport, so they're just uprated injectors. The TD04 will also need I'm pretty sure it's a map sensor, sort of 3 boost gauge sensor basically. Again, if you've got a comp, it comes as standard, so we don't need to change those. If you're doing it to a Series 3 or you're doing it to a, not even Series 3, a 135 or a 145, or even a Turismo, anything with the eye high, just double check you might need that map sensor as well. I reckon the conversion parts wise comes in at about £2,000, roughly, don't quote me on that. And then on top of that, you've then got to make sure that you can obviously pay for any labour to do all the changes. Then you've got a map. Obviously we use the good guys down at Celtic, but we do it, or Celtic Tuning, but we all do it in-house here at AR. So we'll take the car up the road for you, do all the diagnostics, and make sure it's mapped perfectly to your vehicle, because we don't want to just be putting on maps that anybody uses. So that is it. That is Sam's TD04 Turbo. It's a lot of information. I'm really sorry if I've banged on or if I've waffled there, but this has been an incredible car. Love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Sam, for letting me drive it as well, trusting me with this incredible motor. Usual thing, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Plenty more content to come.